Hey shooters, it's John with Sun and Shadow. If you're looking for a way to get a more comfortable position behind the magnified optic on your Daniel Defense rifle or PCC, we've got the solution for you. This here is the new DD cheek riser made specifically for Daniel Defense stocks. You can see that we've got our cheek riser installed here, and in this video we are going to show you how to do the installation of your cheek riser onto your Daniel Defense stock so you can set your rifle up for success when you're behind the gun. First, let's look at the things we need for installation. Of course, we're going to need our Daniel Defense stock. I'd recommend that you have isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel, your new DD cheek riser. I do also recommend that you have a pair of tweezers. This is to peel off the film that we have on the double-sided tape on the back of the cheek riser. You don't need tweezers, it's just helpful to get the film off. So before we start, one thing I want to note about the DD cheek riser is that it is slightly different attachment mechanism than all of our other cheek risers. We usually use a Velcro attachment mechanism for our other designs. The carbine riser, the SBA3 cheek riser, we use Velcro so that you can remove the cheek riser, replace it along the stock, or move it to a different stock. On the DD cheek riser, you can see that we're actually using a double-sided tape instead of Velcro. The Velcro does not attach to the overmold of the stock, so we ended up having to change the design. You can see that we've got this double-sided tape that is 1 inch wide, and it is going to go on the inch-wide section of the stock right here. So that is the reason that we end up going with the double-sided tape over Velcro. You need to note that this is a permanent or maybe a semi-permanent installation, so when you put this riser on, make sure that it is in the correct spot on the stock. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time. So let's take a look at the installation here. First of all, let's make sure that we've got a clean and clear gun. I've got a mag block in here, and you can see that we've got our bolt open and we've got a clear chamber. What I'm going to do is pull the charging handle back to help us with placement. So what you're going to want to do, of course, is make sure that your cheek riser is going into the correct spot. So we're going to move our stock at the correct length of pull. For me, it is position 4 on a standard carbine buffer. I'm going to just lay the cheek riser onto the stock, and I'm going to make sure that my cheek is happy, when I get behind the gun. So once you've got an idea of exactly where that cheek riser needs to go along the stock, you can either mark it with a pencil, or you can remember some of these little marks that they have on the overmold of the stock here. For me, I know that it needs to be about right there when we do the installation. And let's double check that charging handle clearance. You can see here that I've got good clearance. And if I want to move the stock in place, this would be position 3 for me. I could still operate the charging handle without being impeded. And let's move it in one more. That's position 2. This is exactly where I need my cheek riser to be right there. And you can see right at position 2, that's where we're going to start to see that interference. I can still clear the weapon with this, but if we were to move this all the way into position 1, I would no longer be able to operate the charging handle. So make sure you're aware of that. It's highly important that before you stick this thing onto the stock, you know where your charging handle is going to end up so that you don't have that charging handle interference with the DD cheek riser. So I'm going to bump this thing. Actually, you know what? Let's bump it all the way in just so we can test it along with the cheek riser when we do with the charging handle when we do the installation. So let's start by cleaning off the stock. I'm going to take this isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to put it onto my paper towel, and I'm going to clean the stock up. This is just so we can get any oils off of the stock, any dirt, debris, or anything like that, and we have a clean installation for this double-sided tape. We're going to wait for the alcohol to dry. You can see it's come off the stock here. Make sure that the alcohol is off the stock. Make sure it's clean and dry before you do the installation. All right. And now what we're going to do is going to take our tweezers. I'm going to peel up one corner of the film. There we go. I'm going to peel that film back. And again, making sure that we know exactly where our mark is on the stock when we go to do the installation. you really only get one shot to do the installation. It's not like you can put it on and then peel it up and move it. You really only get the one shot, so make sure you're lining it up correctly. Let's make sure that the PSA, that 1 inch wide band, is going to go directly onto the stock here. And we are going to pull that charging handle out, make sure we've got the right clearance, make sure we're lining it up in the right spot. And we are going to push this thing on. You can see we've got everything lined up there. I'm going to close that charging handle for this next step. The double-sided tape that we use is what's called a PSA, a pressure-sensitive adhesive. It needs pressure in order to activate the adhesive in order to stick everything together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my palm here and I'm going to squeeze this cheek riser into the stock. We are going to hold it for about 15 seconds, putting as much pressure into it as I can, pushing that cheek riser down. And again, we're doing hold for about 15 seconds in order to try to wet out that adhesive and get it sticking to the stock. And now what I'm going to do, just to make sure we got everything, is I'm going to push on the ends of the cheek riser here for another 15 seconds, just to make sure that we got everything. All right, counted to 15 in my head there. This thing is now stuck on. Again, you're not able to peel it up and move it. This is a permanent or semi-permanent installation. You can uninstall it, but if you do uninstall it, you need to replace the double-sided tape. You can't use it again. If you do end up needing to do an uninstallation, you got to take this thing off your stock for whatever reason. I would recommend that you use isopropyl alcohol to wet that adhesive and let it soak for just a minute or two. The isopropyl alcohol will actually start to break down the adhesive, make it a little more gummy, and that'll allow you to peel the cheek riser off of the stock. So that is the installation process for the DD cheek riser. This is going to help you get behind your magnified optic or your taller optics better on your Mark 18, your Mark 12, your DDM4, your PCC, anything that uses the Daniel Defense stock. If you have any questions on installation or the cheek riser itself, please put them below in the comments, or you can email us directly, support@sunnshadow.com, SUNN shadow.com, and we will see you guys out on the range.